Okay, we're going to try this again here. We're going to try this again. All right, so right now, what I want to do is I just want to take a quick look at this 2023 Legacy that's currently being leased by a client. And I just want to go over a couple little things here to make a determination on whether it's better to turn the lease in, buy out the lease, and trade it in. There's a couple of options. The options are uh, that you can turn your lease in at the end. We can trade it in, or we can turn it in. We can trade it in at the dealership early, or you can buy the car and then sell it or trade it in, or buy it out. A lot of times, the buyout is the best way to go on that. So let's keep that in mind moving forward. Let's do it. Okay, let's get into it here. So in this case, let's pull up what we have. I pulled up the kind of the range of what trade offers are for this vehicle and what they're kind of retailing for. So right here, I'm going to pull it up. Okay, so as of right now, we have a range through Kelley Blue Book of about 20,400 to 24,500 on the trade-in on this right here. So when you're considering those numbers, it's things that, like on this high end of 24,560, you got to remember that sometimes people will buy new ones and then you'll pay a little more for the car, or they'll mark up the rate in order to make the money, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what they'll do. So sometimes that 24 or 5 might be a little misleading. Okay. So here's where we are right now. I just wanted to show you that we are currently at right around mid 20s. My instant cash offer for this one through Carvana and through Kelley Blue Book was right around 22.4. It's in excellent condition, low mileage. Okay. And then when we take a look at the um, what these are going, what CarMax, there's one at CarMax it's being sold right now, and it looks like that one is being sold for right around $26,000. Okay, that's going to be kind of the top of the food chain. That's why CarMax pays a little bit more, because they sell their cars for more and they don't negotiate prices. But hey, we can definitely try to get the max dollar for this one. That's a question that we can try to figure out, depending on a couple of other factors. The one most important factor is what is the buyout on this car at the end of the lease. If the buyout on this car is, say, considerably less than 22,400, then it would make sense at that point to buy the car out at the residual and trade it in. And remember that a lot of it just depends. Like if we did a 10,000 mile lease, you're only about 7,500 miles under the amount. So the residual is going to be like the highest because you've had the lowest payment. So when you do a 12,000 mile lease, your payment's a little higher. So you're paying the car off a little bit more. Therefore, you're going to have a lower residual amount at the end of the lease. And that's what the bank is going to decide what the vehicle's worth at the end, according to how many miles that you are anticipating using. A lot of people will drive the car for 20,000 miles over 3 years, but they buy 15,000 miles a year. That means that residual is going to be a lot lower for that customer to be able to buy the car out at the end of the lease. So that's why we got to make a determination for this client. If the residual is considerably lower than this one, say it's like 20 grand or lower, it would make sense to buy the car and then sell it, um, rather than just turn it in. Now, let's say that in a lot of cases the residual will be higher than what you could sell or trade the car in for. In which case, we're going to turn the car in at the end of the lease. If that residual is, say, $22,000, it wouldn't make sense to buy the car out and then trade it in. It would make sense to just simply turn the car in. And on sedans, a lot of them are very high likelihood that the trade value is going to be lower than the trade value is going to be lower than the residual on there, which means we're going to trade it in. But in the case where the trade value is going to be higher or considerably higher than what the residual what the residual is on the car, then it makes sense to buy the car out and then sell it after the fact. So we just need to be able to figure that out here. A lot of it just depends on the residual. I haven't had a chance to check uh, some of the other outfits to see if what kind of let me check one more here. Oh, let's see if this thing works. I'm trying another thing to see how high of a number we can get on this one. Now all right, it's trying. Here we go. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, so right now we're looking this up. Okay, so now we're seeing some higher numbers here. Now we're starting to see some numbers that are a little bit higher. I've got one. They're going to they don't need a physical inspection on this one. We're already at 23,166. Oh my gosh, I've got 24,2 on this one right now. 24,2. So we're already beating the competitors on this one. It looks like hey, no physical inspection, no fee to sell. So I'm seeing numbers as high as 24,2. Again, this is not an easy car to find. There's like 14 of these that are 2023s that are between 20 and 30,000 miles in this particular package on a Subaru Legacy in the nation. So right now I'm looking at numbers that are considerably higher. Here we are, we're at 24,2. So that's going to be kind of our benchmark, right? 24,200 is going to be the high, $2,000 higher than what we're getting from our other competitors on this. Carvana's offering 22,400, and Kelly Blue Book is also offering 22,400. We're already $2,000 higher already. So if our residual on the vehicle, or what we have to pay to buy the car out at the end of the lease, say that number is, say, 19 grand or 18 grand. This is $6,000 in difference that we're going to get on the vehicle. Granted, the vehicle's lease is up in June, so we have 2 more lease payments on it. So whatever the residual plus, actually 3 more payments. So whatever the 3 payments plus the residual. So say the residual is the payment's $500. It'll be March's payment, April's payment, May's payment, and then the residual is what you would pay to buy the car out at the end of the lease if you didn't turn it in. Say that's 17 grand. You would add, that'd be 18,500. That would be a considerable amount of money that you would be leaving on the table by turning the car in. Let's say though that the residual in the car is $23,000. By the time you pay a dealer fee to buy the car out, do all that, work with all that, by the time you go through that process, it is always better to just simply trade the car, turn the car in, just because it's a pain in the ass to do that. But if it's not a pain in the ass to do it if it puts 5 grand in your pocket, right? I mean, like, so that's really the next question. What's the residual on the car? If the residual is considerably lower than what you can sell your car for on the open market, then buy the car and sell it. 5 grand on a new lease. Let's say you lease another car and you wind up with $5 extra thousand in your pocket. That's another $30 a month in payment on a 3-year lease for every $1,000 you put towards that vehicle. So 5 grand would be $150 on your car payment. That's a considerable amount of money off your payment. That's how we can turn a $650 car payment into a $500 car payment. Not bad. That's a week's worth of groceries for a lot of people, right? So you can see here, let's see, we'll have to figure out what that next step would be. But looks like we can get about 24,000 for it. When June rolls around, it should be about the same, really, at that point. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now on this one. We'll be able to make better recommendations once we know what the value is, but this gives us a good starting point. All righty, so we've got the stream live here. I appreciate all of the clients, everybody that's keeping Negotiation Nation rolling here. Any questions, feel free to reach out. It's negotiationnation@proton.me. You can contact me there, or my cell number is 269-267-5852. Thank you.